We endure all kinds of challenges.
Hiyo ndio sababu mimi natoa shukrani kwenu kabisa.
Doing this job is not for the faint-hearted. It takes dedication, courage, and strength. We endure all kinds of challenges.
Hiyo ndio sababu mimi natoa shukrani kwenu kabisa.
So my name is Dr. Jared Siso, Executive Director, Wiper. The group, the team that is here is, as you are aware, we have had the organizing committee for people's assemblies. So today they came to present a report and to do some consultations with the Wiper Democratic Movement Kenya. And one of the issues that we have had to talk is about their ongoing progress with regard to how we are organizing the people's assemblies. Among other things, we have also had to discuss on matters related to what I think is most of you are interested about the swearing in, which is a bad part of their mandate. And the most important issue here is the swearing in of our, as you are aware, the presidency is a joint venture. It's a joint ticket, that of the president and of the deputy president. And as you know, as NAS, our president is in the country and is ready for the swearing in. But the DB is out for reasons you know. So that is one of the concerns that we have had. And in the process, we are looking at whether we can swear him where he is, or at a later date, or he will be coming, he will be chatting to the country, so that then we do this very important decision. I want to put it to you that the consultations are ongoing, and the team is satisfied and about their task as we move on. I think basically that is one of the most important issues we are briefing this morning. This is our Secretary General, but she is part, and she's also a member of the committee. So see if you have a word or two.
I think there isn't much that can be said. The CEO has already briefed you. It's the further consultations. You want to bring everybody on board and to be as we just want to consult widely and make a thorough consultation so that everybody is brought on board and everything is clear. And that's why we are here. So unless you have any other question, that's it. So, you want to say
Gentlemen, and are ready? Any question?
question of the inauguration had not been mentioned yesterday, and whether are we sharing in the President of the Republic or are we sharing in the President of the People's Assembly?
We addressed that issue yesterday during the press briefing. We stated very clearly that the venue will be unveiled tomorrow, and the details of the swearing in will be at the People's Assembly. So we do not want to preempt activities of the People's Assembly, but the venue will be unveiled tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Ningependa pengine mfafanue ikiwa kweli mtaafikiana kumwapisha naibu wa rais Kalonzo Musyoka kwa nje ya nchi. Uko na mikakati ya kutuma majaji kutoka Kenya kwenda Ujerumani kuapisha?
Essentially, those are ujaribu Kiswahili.
Yeah, vile executive director wa Wiper alisema ya kwamba tunashauriana kuhusu jinsi naibu wa rais ataapishwa. Kwa wakati huu sisi, unajua sisi ni watu wa mkono. Kitu tunafanya ni kushauriana, alafu tutapelekea ujumbe viongozi wetu waangalie ni jinsi gani ataapishwa. Kwa wakati huu yeye anawasiliana na vigogo wenzake, na kitu tunajaribu kuangalia tu ni mkakati gani tutatumia. Kwa wakati huu hatujui kama atapata nafasi kati ya leo na Jumanne arejee nyumbani aapishwe arudi huko, ama tutapata njia ya kutuma mtu huko aapishwe, au mwenzake apishwe alafu tumngoje akirudi apishwe hapa. All those options ziko mezani, so hatujafikia uamuzi ni jinsi gani tutamwapisha.
Kuna tetesi kutoka kwa serikali ya kwamba huenda wakaweka au viongozi wanasa under house arrest. Ikiwa hilo litafanyika, nini kama kamati ambayo inaandaa mikakati ya kuapisha viongozi hawa mtachukua hatua?
Bado ninaamini ya kwamba serikali yetu ni serikali ambayo imeundwa katika sheria, ijapokuwa tunajua mambo mengi wamefanya nje ya sheria, lakini tunaamini ya kwamba wataheshimu sheria. Huwezi kuamka tu na uweke mtu ndani kabla hajafanya kosa lolote. So kama wanapanga hivyo, basi ni serikali ya wajambazi.
Given that the liquid NASA running in a foreign country, do you think that swearing in a foreign country is violating the statutes of that country that
We didn't say that.
We have said we have not made a decision on how it will be done.
Yeah. Essentially, what Owen is saying, and we have repeated again, is that consultations are still on, and I'm not sure this is the right forum. Then we have to communicate some of this. Yeah.
What about the talks with the diplomats and so on? They are still active, trying to...
I think that one should be left to the level of principles.
That's not our mandate.
That is for the principles. Yeah.
Does it have maybe influence for you, I mean, as a committee?
Yeah.
What they are discussing?
No.
There's a top level discussions.
We have our terms. We have our terms of reference as a committee.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Si tumemaliza? Sorry.
In the countries, how many countries have already passed the motion?
15.
We have 15 counties that have already passed the People's Assembly motions, and we are still counting.
And in the countries where they have already passed, are they taking some, have they already created there something, or are they...
They are doing the first assembly.
I think the things have, and the process has come out already. They have passed the motions, and definitely, then they will start to constitute those assemblies. Yeah. Okay. See you guys.
We are coming to you live from Wiper House, where the steering committee on the setting up of the People's Assembly and the inauguration of His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga and Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka have just addressed a press conference. And we just have an exclusive on the side, and we thank you for that. Joining me is Dr. David D. Amongst other members of the committee, including Dr. Oduoro Ngwen, Judy Sijenyi, and Dr. David Sisio, who is the Executive Director of Wiper. David D, first of all, it's good to see you not in the cells. The IG has indicated that he might arrest persons, not only the people to be sworn in, persons who might be actively engaging in the swearing-in affair. What is your take on that?
Well, as you already know, that I was a victim of of a preemptive arrest, I think.
Yes.
Because when I was actually abducted in Kilifi, in Kwale, yes, and driven overnight to Nairobi, in the end, when was sort of my charges or whatever I was being accused of, the senior officer was there, put in front of me a piece of fake news, and I do not believe that the Kenyan state, with all its intelligence, is unable to distinguish things which are genuine, said by myself, and things which are actually fake. So clearly that was a trumped-up excuse. It seems there was some information that I was in Kwale to do some activities associated with the NRM and swearing in and all of that. So yes, but it's obviously outside of the law, as the ED of ODM has already said. And if the Jubilee administration decides to go extra legal, then there is absolutely nothing that law-abiding people can do. If your government goes wrong, it has gone wrong. It becomes the responsibility of citizens to see how they navigate themselves out of a situation where the state is captured by a rogue regime. And that is why we have convened the People's Assembly, assemblies, to precisely deliberate on how to find our pathway back to a democratic government constituted on the basis of free, fair and credible elections. So there is a parallel. It's a question of what kind of extra legal, extrajudicial, extra-constitutional, whether, even if this one you're talking about unlawful confinement, but we already have a government which is in office on the basis of unlawful and illegitimate elections. So it will not be a surprise that if they decide to go one step further and now resort to the sort of authoritarian methods of the past, and they have stated, many senior people of Jubilee have stated that that is their intention.
Maybe before maybe get a reaction from Moitalelo Olekina, back to Koitalelo Olekina, yes, and just back to your arrest. There was a bit of a grey 8-9 hours between the time you were arrested and by the time you were produced at the CID headquarters, and you appeared to vanish. All the cameras were waiting at the entrance of the CID headquarters, and we just saw you in court. What happened in between these 8 hours?
I was not arrested. I was abducted. About 10 or so people, armed people, came to my hotel. They put me in a car. They drove into a police station, but I was not booked in that police station. I did not put. Once I was put in that car, I did not put my foot down, other than for short toilet breaks in the middle of the forest, of the road, from Mombasa, until the CID headquarters in Nairobi. That's where I was. It took from about 11 to about 8 o'clock in the morning. But I was not arrested. Up to now, other than sort of that trumped-up charge sheet, there is no record in the government of Kenya that I was under arrest. There is nowhere you can go and find a place written that I was arrested and for suspicion of the one offense or another.
Maybe to put it in simple terms, what was your experience from the time you were...
We drove up and down the road from Kwale to Mombasa twice. We drove up, we stopped in the middle. There were some consultations. It did not appear to me to be a planned and well-coordinated event, because there seemed to be people giving contradictory orders. So we drove up the road, stopped in the middle of the road. We went back. We drove up again, stopped about 2 or 3 times. We did not actually get started on the trip to Nairobi until about 11.
Was anybody speaking to you?
No, I was not speaking to them, so they couldn't speak to me because I wasn't speaking to them.
Well, perhaps why this question is not going away is that the public was very, very, very concerned, especially about your safety. You know, just the other day, Msandro disappeared, and we all know what happened. And I remember seeing your mother at the lockouts before you were released. She was also very traumatized. So there was all this question that what are they doing to David Ndii? That is basically why this question is not going away.
My own sense is obviously that it's intimidation. Many people here are familiar with it. We were victims of this in the 80s. It is going back. I mean, the sense you got was one, there was no plan, because there was no crime. In fact, by the time I was through with what was supposed to be an interview, you could see that the officers were actually quite embarrassed because they really had nothing. By the time I was being released, it was a matter of trying to get sort of rid of you and get the thing over with. So it was meant, I think what we're seeing is an attempt to intimidate, to go back to the use of force. I think it was a test case, particularly related to intimidating this committee, because the timing was very much related to the timing of this committee. And we don't think it's over. I think Jubilee administration, we were told by the Deputy Vice Chair, he said that on several occasions, that we are going to see a very different President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is going to be very, we will nyorosha people, as we said. So this is probably their way of saying that they are going to do that. But I think it's also a reflection of people who have run out of ideas, because what we are doing is politics. And politics is about ideas and debate and reason. We have made it very clear, everything we have done, we have made it very clear that we are within our rights, our constitutional rights of assembly, of dissent, of exercising our sovereignty as people. Everything we are doing, but they are unable to deal with that. And when you see somebody who can no longer talk to you and he throws a fist, it means they have run out of reason. They can only turn to fists. And the fists have never sorted out anything.
Well, I think Vincent Afande is requesting that you do something in Swahili. I'm not too sure about that.
It's okay. Just a short one.
Okay. Very well.
The moment
there are laws and procedures.
Yes.
They were not followed. So if you ask, there should be an inquiry of this nature. But mine, I am here talking to you. There are people who have lost their loved ones. I think those are the ones we should be concerned about, because we should be concerned about the more concerned about the faceless, if I may use that word, victims of extrajudicial killings, the ordinary families, the people who do not have people like the media and my colleagues here to speak up for them. So this is those are the people I think we should be concerned about, because obviously, at some point we know that these sort of regimes do get to a point where they eliminate their political opponents. But before they get there, they will have killed and maimed and incarcerated many ordinary people who are easier to intimidate.
Just that moment, the decision.
There's no decision.
Walk along with them, or?
There's no decision. People, if you have 10 people with guns. And they sort of have identified themselves as police officers, and they sort of shove you into a car. There's really no time for debating. This is not sort of crime TV. This is actually a goon squad.
It's very clear.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Asante sana. Kwa ufupi tu Bwana David, kwa Kiswahili ninaitwa
well, that was David Ndi, the chair of the NASA Technical Committee and also the chair of the committee steering the inauguration and establishment of the People's Assemblies. I'm now joined by a member of the committee, Koitamet Ole Kina. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting to speak to NASA TV. Just maybe what Ndi has mentioned, are you members of the committee perhaps not afraid that the same fate could befall you?
Well, intimidation could be there, but I think we are not the kind of people to be intimidated. As you can see, members of that committee have been arrested before on political issues, not because they have stolen anybody's property or because they have done any crime, but because they have dissented ideologically, or because they are fighting for freedoms that are provided by the Constitution, or because they wanted change that brought up these freedoms. So really, that will not go anywhere. The only thing that will wash with us is if the government follows the law, if it actually gives back the rights of the people of Kenya that a little clique of people is trying to take back, to claw back. And we will fight until our last breath for all the freedoms that are provided for in the Constitution, because many Kenyans lost their lives in the past for us to be where we are today. So we cannot allow either Uhuru, Ruto, or whoever else who thinks he can abuse the responsibility or the opportunity that he has been given by the people of Kenya to lead us back to where we said we cannot go back to.
Maybe just lastly, well, there is what that there could be plans not only to place the principals under house arrest, or perhaps even yourselves, because it appears you are the drivers of this process. Are there perhaps special security arrangements, or it is just left to fate?
Let me ask you, something. How many people were fighting for change in this country? How many died? How many were imprisoned in the process? Do we have change? It's there. Because it's not about me. It's not about Raila. It's not about Kalonzo. It's not about an individual. It is an idea whose time has come. Kenyans want electoral justice. Kenyans want their votes to count when they go to an election. It doesn't matter how many people you arrest. That's what Kenyans want. And it will go there. So if you want to arrest the idea. If you can arrest that idea, then you would say you have succeeded. But you cannot arrest an idea whose time has come. This is about change. This is about liberties. It is about electoral justice. It's about people trying to impose themselves by stealing elections. Kenyans know that. And even if Ole Kina is arrested, there are very many people out there who share that idea with me, who will continue with the idea. Even if you kill me, you will not kill the idea. So anybody thinking that he would intimidate me to go and hide myself under the bed or do something because I'm afraid, they are in for a rude shock. We are not afraid.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Koitamet Ole Kina, speaking, very strongly. And as it is said, there is nothing as powerful as an idea whose time has come. The steering committee on the inauguration and the establishment of the People's Assembly has indicated that on Sunday they will announce the venue. Very many Kenyans and people around the globe waiting to hear where this venue will be, and this grand swearing in of Raila Amolo Odinga as the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya. They have also indicated that they are doing consultations to establish as to how the Deputy President, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, is going to be sworn in, whether he's going to come into the country or it's going to happen where he is or later. Those are consultations that are going on because there have been many questions around his absence from the political scene, which has been explained that he has a member of his family who has been in critical condition that he has been attending to in Germany. Well, it remains to be seen what unfolds between tomorrow, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, which is D-Day, the 12th of December 2017. Reporting for NASA TV from Wiper House, I am Morris Ochieng.
To NASA TV, to boost and improve our standards. You can contribute directly to NASA TV by donating to Airtel Paybill number 555155. Support NASA TV. NASA TV, mambo yabadilika. Doing this job is not